Chopping it up. We gon' get down to the truth. Chopping it up.
Oh yeah, we ready. Tamara, I'm sorry. I always say Tamara. Where are you, my love?
It's all right. I've been called worse.
I just like Tamara.
My
What's going
grandmother used to
on?
call me Tammy and Tamara.
I told you. Cheers, my love.
Cheers, darling.
And hello, family that came to join us. Ah, our people. It's so nice. And guess what? And you're still nervous. And it's your family.
Yes. I
All
always get
right.
nervous with these things.
So we got Tamara. Let me tell you something. If you know Tamara like I do, for those of you watching tonight on Facebook playing the drink game, and every time you hear her say "I mean," you got to take a shot.
Oh man,
So
I say
it's
that a
going.
lot. It's a wrap. Y'all gonna be drunk messing with me.
It's gonna be a wrap. All right, so I'm gonna start it off by reading her bio of this amazing human being we got over here. Eclectic, multidisciplinary. Woo, you got a big word in there for me. Teaching artist and poet Tamara G Saliva is a native New Yorker by way of Brooklyn and now the Bronx. Yes. She had a love what do you call that? You gotta learn to love the Bronx, right? It took a minute. And now it's
Um, it's a work in progress.
Saliva is a native New Yorker by way of Brooklyn. She is the founder and CEO of Simple Treasures Gifts and Things, a published author and celebrated artist. Tamara uses a variety of materials and mediums to release creative energy and transform her community. She's been published in several anthologies, including What They Leave Behind, a Latin anthology edited by Vanessa Chica Ferreira, Mujeres, The Magic, the Movement, and the Muse, Robles Rights Productions Incorporated. And she is an integral part of the Abuelas Project, Robles Rights Productions Incorporated. Tamara has performed her poetry on various stages throughout the tri-state area, including the New Yorican Poets Cafe, the National Black Theater, and is an alumni featured artist for the LCAT Productions and Urban Beat Poets Society. You know that.
Nice.
Her deeply personal first book of poetry, titled Blue Vein Pages, published in 2013, is now available in paperback at Bronx Bound Books, like Cats Now and Forever. Along with being a poet, Tamara is a gifted visual artist, photographer, recording artist, wife, and host of The Come Up, a talk-based series where prominent members of the arts community are interviewed by her. Give it up for Tamara G Saliva.
Yay.
Yes. We love Tamara. All right, let's get down to it. So, when you get down to the core, who is Tamara G Saliva?
I'm still trying to find out. But to the core of it, I am an emotional thug. I am a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a writer. I like to call myself an eclectic artist because there's not one thing that I do. I write, I paint, I make jewelry, I take pictures. So it's really at the core of it all. I'm all heart. I never thought this would be like a difficult question, but it's so like no one ever really asks this, but I'm all heart, I'm all passion. Um I'm all love. I have a lack of patience, but with all of that lack of patience, I still uh find a way to still create and still love and still, you know, accept the imperfectness that I am because we're all a work in progress, right? So I'm constantly growing, I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly trying to find out who I really am at the end of the day. Because every day we change, right? So every day we evolve. Today, I'm not the same person I was yesterday because I learned something yesterday. So today, I'm a new person because of whatever I learned yesterday. And I'm a big believer in that. So I'm constantly changing at the core of it, I think.
Yeah,
And you're the best sister ever.
That's my baby sister.
and you know what? I can sum it all down to you. Like sum it all down to you're a beast in a
That's
beautiful
right.
way. When I say
Yes.
that, this is somebody who wears many hats. So you're a poet, a writer, a visual artist, like you said, photographer, recording artist, jewelry maker, and now you're a talk host, right?
Right.
So, which of these arts would you say is the biggest part of you?
I want to say um, they've all always been there and they're all really big parts of me. But my first love has always been writing. Writing is what helped me heal. Writing is what got me through some of my darkest moments in life. And if it wasn't for writing, I don't know where I would be today, to be honest. So I think I want to say writing is probably that's my love. That's my first love. That's the first go to before I pick up the camera, before I go to a canvas, before I go to make jewelry. Writing is the first thing I do. And then when I'm blocked in writing and I can't get anything out writing wise, but I have creative energy I need to release, then I go to whatever comes to me next, which is probably painting or probably making some jewelry if I need to really release energy with my hands.
All right. So, speaking of writing, so you haven't you published your book in 2013, and then you haven't published another book since then. Um, and since that deeply personal bio verse Blue Vein Pages. So, um, what was the reason for the long break, and can we expect another collection from you anytime soon?
So when I was 14, right? Blue Vein Pages is literally everything I wrote from the age of 14 to the time that that book was published. Um, and when I was 14, I had made a decision, and I'm like a stubborn Scorpio, right? I made a decision that the plan is you write your first poetry book, you write your memoir, you write whatever else comes after, right? Um, and obviously, I'm 42 now, and I'm still trying to stick to that, right? But you know, some people think that memoir is like, oh, it's your life. It should be easy. Just write it. It's done. But reliving these moments when you're writing memoir is not easy because you literally, it's almost like you're sitting in a room playing a tape in the VCR. I'm aging myself now. It's like playing a movie of yourself, right? And then rewinding to some of the most traumatic things that have ever happened to you.
Mhm.
And when you're rewriting those things, you're literally sitting in it. So it's almost like opening old scars and then sitting in those wounds. Um, so I tried that. I've been working on the memoir all these years since I wrote Blue Vein Pages. But I have found that I've written a whole lot of poems in these years.
Right.
Some of them have been published online in La Libreta. Some of them have been published in the Mujeres book, in Vanessa, the book that Vanessa, What They Leave Behind. Some of them have been published there as well. Um, but also, there has been more poetry than I thought there was. And recently, I put together everything in like a document, and it's like a whole bunch of work. So I am currently working on a second poetry book, and I am working on editing it and going through it. And, right now I had to put it down because I kind of like felt like everything in there is not worth printing. Why did I write it? So I feel like I'm my worst critic, as most of us are,
All
right?
of us.
So I'm like, well, I need to take a step back. And even my wife was like, you need to walk away from it. Like you're looking at this book like it's like you want to set it on fire. Like go away. And I'm like, all right, I printed it. The last print the fourth draft I put together. It's printed and it's sitting on my clipboard in my room, in my bedroom, and it just, it sleeps next to me every night, but I have not touched it until I feel better about it. I'll touch it again, hopefully in the next few weeks. So
And you
I
were
am working on it.
reading Blue Vein Pages. I told you how it affected me. I mean, to me, that was a memoir, and a memoir doesn't have to be a once and final opus. It's like
Right.
you can have many more than just one memoir, but that to me was a deep cutting memoir, right? And your
Right.
life isn't all that. It's what made you grow. It turns you into who you are today.
Absolutely.
But like I remember early in your poetic path, right? You
Right.
started, you've been evolving, and I don't want to say evolving because there's nothing. It's not really like you're doing something better. We all get better, but it's different, and so it shows a more of like where you are at now. But I wanted to talk about like more personal thing. Like when I first met you, I first met you at the New Yorican, actually, and you don't remember it because it was just like a hi and bye
Right.
kind of thing. And then me and Kat saw you in a few places, but and we always loved you, but you always donned the fedora every time you were on stage, right?
Right.
And so and there's some significance behind that, right? So there was
Huge significance.
So what is the significance behind that? What's the significance?
So there's two things that the fedora means, right? So the first thing is I hate the stage, right? So I hate performing. As important as performing is to a poet, is probably as much as I dislike it, because it's nerve-wracking. Like we're on Zoom and I'm completely nervous right now, right? But the fedora hides the audience. So I can't see y'all at all while I have the fedora on. So people like True and Peggy and Monica always used to tell me, like, you need to get out of that comfort zone. Like even Tattoo used to tell me, like, girl, you need to, you saying something, you need to like show people your eyes. True used to say it all the time. Vigo used to say it all the time. Peggy says it all the time, like, you're a powerhouse, come out of that shell, all through these years, right? So that's one reason for the fedora. The second reason for the fedora is my father. When I first met my dad, like, not that I didn't have, so he wasn't in my life from 2 years old, but I don't remember anything from that age. So for me, my first memory of my dad is when I met him at 14, and he had the coolest fedora hat on, but it wasn't like the fedoras I usually wear. It's more old school. The brim is a little bit wider, but it was a straw hat type. And when I'm on stage, or when I write, or when I perform with it, it's in honor of him as well.
And I call you twin.
Yes.
And because even as we started to get to know each other, we had so much in common, right? And now I'm listening to the significance of this. And so when I first started performing on stage, I would wear shades no matter how dark it was. And that was why I wore it, right? Because I was blocking the crowd out, because it was, I have anxiety. So my escape was close my eyes while I'm performing and nobody will know. And then I would always do this at the end of a poem, and that was for my grandmother. So I used to do that in honor of her. So see, we're twins. I told you.
Always.
So now, when did you stop wearing it, and like why? What triggered you to stop wearing it? I mean, I know people were advising you, but which one of these people, or what was it that actually moved you to say, I need to move forward to a new path with this?
I haven't gotten there yet, to be honest. I kind of was forced to perform without it. Not forced, like I had no other choice, but the performance did not require. When we did Mujeres, I think was probably one of the first times I performed without my hat. And it had a lot to do with what that performance entailed, what that whole entire masterpiece was on stage with the other women and with Peggy. So Peggy definitely told me, like when she was directing it, she was like, "You are not wearing a hat. Like it's not happening." And if anybody knows Peggy, they know that when she says what she says, you ain't got no other choice. So that was probably the first time, and I think the second time that I did not wear a hat was for a Valentine's Day art show that I did in dedication to my wife. Because all the paintings were of her and
Yes, I
all the
was there.
poems were of her. Yes, when we released Letters to Diane
Yes.
and all of that. That was like the second time that I did not wear the hat. After that, the pandemic kept me from wearing the hat because we're on Zoom and I can't put my headphones over my fedora at all. My
So,
older sister.
you know, my wife, my beautiful wife, Catalina,
Yes.
she always likes, I used to wear a hat, more of a style thing. And she always wanted
Right.
me to continue to wear it on stage. And that's why I asked about you. I stopped wearing the hat and the shades to force myself out of my comfort zone so that I could push myself to be more connected to the audience and to the people and to fear forward. Like I'm always telling everybody, you got to fear forward, not backward.
Right.
And,
Right.
and I was like, well, it's easy to tell somebody to give advice to someone, but it's always harder to give that advice to yourself. So I started giving myself that advice, and and that's how that happened. So
maybe when I go back to the stage and we go back to a little more normalcy that we had before, maybe.
I like the hat. I'll be honest. I like the fedora on you. It was the style. But the cutest thing is I
have like 15 of them.
If you ever look at videos of Tamara or pictures, and it's the cutest nervous face, right? I don't know if anybody else can notice, but I can tell.
Kind of what's going on right now, all the red and stuff. Kind of what's going on right now.
So when and where was your first poetic performance?
Wow. The first time I ever touched the stage was at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I was 16, maybe I was probably 16 or 17 years old. My English teacher took us, like the whole class, to the New Yo for an open mic. And I no longer have this poem, but it was a letter to my mother, and it was not the most positive letter, but it was a powerful letter. I got a huge reaction out of the crowd, but that was the first time I ever performed on stage, and it wasn't really a performance, depending on who you ask, because I read. So,
right.
But I was probably like 16, 17, and then I probably didn't touch a stage again until 2011.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's and let me help you change a little thought pattern here, because just because you're reading, it's still a performance, right?
Right.
You're still performing because you're giving a part of yourself to the audience. My man Billy Tuggle always says that he's a slam champion.
Right.
And he's like, he'll get up on stage at a slam competition and read off paper and like, what?
Nice.
And when you give us a piece of yourself, whether it's on paper or not, you're giving something out, and that's performing it. So and you do that every time. I love when you read or don't read, it's still dope every time. All my people are dope. So now I don't know what came first, the tattoos. A lot of people don't know about that, or the painting, the visual painting. But so when did you start painting? And was it the tattooing that came first, or?
So a painting has always been a struggle for me, so to speak. So when I was a kid, I was interested in it, but I felt like I wasn't talented enough to mess with it. So I would kind of like step away from it, but I always drew, like I always sketched. I always did stuff like that. When I was 15, I used to go bombing with my nephew all over Bushwick. Yeah.
See, I didn't know this.
I was 7 months pregnant bombing on Grove and Wyckoff with my nephew, and I was like 15.
What was your tag name? You know, I know you remember. Stop playing.
I do remember it. So my tag name was Miss Tinky.
Yes.
And the reason it was Miss Tinky is because we needed a tag name, right? So my nephew, he's I'm not sure. Tattoo might know his tag name. His is Whack, right? WAK. And his crew was STF, and which is strict stands for strictly the family. And um I had to pick a tag name. I started living with my sister when I was like around 14 years old, and we were standing in front of a Pac-Man game, and there's like Pinky and Inky, and my first letter is T, so I'm like, all right, so it's Miss Tinky. My younger sister Vanessa, her tag name was Miss Cookie because I really still don't know why, but we had to choose a tag name, and yeah, Miss Tinky, that's what it was. But tattooing came way later. I was always interested in learning how to tattoo. I started learning how to tattoo in 98, 99, at a tattoo shop called Armageddon on Bushwick Ave and Graham. And the girl who started teaching me, her name is Sarah. She's in Puerto Rico now. She did most of my tattoos, and I started getting tattoos at 16.
Nice.
And then painting came like later. Within the last 10 years, painting came.
And there's a painting of yours. I think it was Oshun with the fabric.
Yes.
That is amazing. I don't know if you could show it to us. I don't know if you have it still.
It's in storage.
So anyway, that was.
I know which one you're talking about.
So, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because it shows the creative in you, that you didn't just take to painting. You put something extra to it. Look, yes, that's a copy of it. So, but you can't tell from this painting, but there's fabric on that. Yeah, so it's a mixed
there's fabric, there's cowrie shells, mixed media.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karina. It's mixed media. There's cowrie shells, there's beads, there's rhinestones on it, there's fabric on it. I did that painting. It was a series of religious paintings, actually. So there's a Yamaya painting, there's a Chango painting, and the Ochung painting. The Chango painting was the most challenging painting of all of them, right down to the day I first showed it. It was giving me challenges. But yeah, painting, I want to say painting really came around that time. Strongly came around that time when I did the display in, I want to say that was 2013 also.
And I have one of your paintings.
Yes.
And also the point of that.
Two.
I have two little ones. I have two little ones. I have two little Taino ones, and then I have the beautiful with the Taino face painting and the lion. Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah. But that's what my point in that painting was. You took something that's normally 2D and you brought it to life. You made it. What did they used to call those maps in school that were 3D? Well, you didn't want to just like. I don't know if it was consciously like you wanted to make it come out, but you took the painting and made it come out of the canvas. And I thought that was important. Goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate that. That was the goal. I felt like everything was really flat and I couldn't give it the dimension that most artists can do just by drawing the dimensions. I couldn't do that. So instead I felt like you needed to feel the painting. Like you needed to feel the items that I was trying to bring out.
And then, so you're also an amazing photographer. And what's really amazing is I know you're an iPhone fiend and you love it. And I call myself
just a little bit of an iPhone snob, just a little bit.
Yeah, that's
I try to be humble with it, but it's hard.
So there was a gallery in New York in I think in 2013. And there was like it was about the iPhone pictures taken with the iPhone, and none of them could touch what you do. And
I appreciate that.
And to this day, people look at your iPhone photos and they're amazed. They can't believe that this came from a phone. And then again, you take a picture and it's really beyond filters, but you make it with whatever filter you use. You kind of make it your own, and you make these paintings just again come to life. So now that was kind of a transition, right? Because you were painting first and then you decided to go into the photography.
Well, photography has always been there, kind of like very far in the background. When I was a kid, I always liked taking pictures. But I never really like considered myself a photographer
Right.
until Mrs. Robles Alvarado yelled at me for saying sometimes I think I'm a photographer, and one of my really close friends, Yadi, kind of almost at the same time, they were both on some, you're not sometimes a photographer, you're always a photographer. You don't think
Yes.
you're a photographer, you are a photographer. So I kind of accepted the yelling that they were doing and
Mhm.
accepted the role. Like, yes, I am a photographer, but I'm still struggling with the full, I'm like 80% accepted of it, right? Because
Right.
it's only with my phone. Honestly, I use 4 to 5 different apps to really get what I'm looking for in the
Right.
picture. And it's really just editing. It's not so much that it's a filter that I use, it's more editing the photos to for it to look what I see in my head.
I'm downplaying it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not just taking the
And then I
photo and
get yelled
editing
at by my wife about the,
it.
yeah, see?
But you know what else you do is it's not just that, it's the moment that you capture. So
Right.
like you can just take a picture, but it's something deep inside, maybe even spiritual, that tells you when to take that shot and what shot to take and what's happening emotionally and what energy is going on in those photos. So I told you, I feel that. I feel life in your photography. I feel
Oh, I
life in
appreciate
your
that.
art. So I mean, and now Peggy's gonna, she's not yelling at you. She's kind of
It's
like the
all
bull.
love,
She's kind of like the bullhorn, right? She's what
right?
she wants to do is wake up who the great person that you are, right? So she's
Right.
gonna talk to you later, and she's gonna notice that when you said about being a photographer, that you went like this, and you
Yes.
got all uncomfortable, and she's gonna say, "Put your hand down,
Yeah,
stand up
pretty much.
straight, put your chin up, and say,
Pretty
yes,
much.
I'm a photographer."
Say it with your chest.
Yeah, say it with your chest. Um, so would you say that the arts, whether it's poetry, visual art, or photography, is therapeutic for you? Like something that,
Absolutely.
tell me about that.
Absolutely. 1,000%. Um, Writing alone is therapeutic because even if I'm in my head so deep that I can't get out of it, writing will get me out of that dark space that I get into. So I have suffered from depression over the years, and it's always been, you know, if you suffer from depression, the biggest battle that you fight is getting up in the morning
Mm,
and having like the el ánimo to get up and just deal with the day sometimes. And sometimes we fall into these dark places that it's almost like a black hole. I like to call it because that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like I'm in a dark room looking for the light switch so the light can come back.
yeah.
And in that motion or in that space, it's either writing that takes me out of it, or a painting might take me out of it, or um, taking a walk and trying to find those little moments. Sometimes I'm outside and sometimes I'm even driving and I wish I could just stop the car to take a picture of something because I see this one thing that, it could be like a bolt on the expressway. Like nothing out of this world. It's a rusted bolt on a cement block and it just looks like something to me. And those moments take me out of whatever dark space I'm in for
Yeah.
that moment. And then, there's other things that take me out of my dark spaces, but art really is probably the most therapeutic form of getting me out of my darkness when I need it to come out, when I need to come out of my darkness. Um, Writing is definitely number one. My number one therapy is definitely, I have million, if I was to turn this camera around and y'all looked at my desk, if you have OCD, you'd be upset. Um, but there's like little notes everywhere because there's just random thoughts that I just need to get out to help me feel better.
Right.
And if art doesn't work, then I have certain golden girls in my life that I can like vent to and send them voice notes 5 minutes long, and they'll respond back with something simple like "you are loved" or "you are magic" or "I love you, Tam, like don't worry about it, you'll be all right." Like, it's little things like that. When the art doesn't work, my girls work.
And you definitely are magic. That is for sure. So that's the truth. So who would you say inspired you to be a creative? Like, let's start like from the first person that you did. You said writing was your first love and your first go-to. So what inspired you to do that in the first place? Was it that one night at the New York?
No, actually, I love Shakespeare.
Mm.
And when I don't remember exactly when was the first time I read Romeo and Juliet, but Romeo and Juliet, and I'm a Scorpio, so like I'm a hopeless romantic, right? So like I'm super like I'm like the in love with love type. I'm the in love with like, excuse the term, guys, but I'm super gay, right? Like I'm super gay when it comes to like
With a cake.
yeah, like I do all kinds of like I love the whole roses all the time, the just because stuff like that. And Romeo and Juliet and just the whole love story of that, when I don't remember how young I was, but the first time I read it, I was in love. And then after that, it was like I chased everything that was Shakespeare, all the sonnets, all the plays, Macbeth, everything. And that really, and then from Shakespeare, it went into Robert Frost and it went into Hemingway. And I got into all the Edgar Allan Poe's and prose poets. And the prose poetry is what really made me feel like I can write.
Yeah.
And from there, it took a life of its own completely. And then, I found out later in life that my dad was very much an eclectic artist as I am. So
Really? Didn't
that
know that.
added to it.
That's beautiful. So what kind of art did he do?
He was a painter, a writer. Sometimes my cousin hears me talking and she's like, "Wow, you sound just like your dad. Like you talk the way your dad was. You're all philosophical sometimes. Sometimes I smoke and I get all whimsical and stuff." And so,
Tell me
yeah.
about Blue Vein Pages. Like, no one can read that book without crying.
Yeah.
No one can read
It's a
that book
hard read.
without feeling something deep in their heart. You mentioned depression. I wake up sometimes and like that, and I feel like I'm falling into my gut. And that book kind of takes you there for a minute.
Yeah.
So
That
I mean, so tell me how it came to be, and what moved you to write and publish it.
so when I was in high school, I had started like a little poetry magazine thing. And in starting the poetry magazine, I ended up putting like a small collection of poems together, and I named it Love and Darkness. And
Like that.
it had like the cut. It was just a bunch of pages I printed and they handed it out to the whole school. Um, and
Nice.
a lot of the poems from Blue Vein Pages came from Love and Darkness. Um, a lot of those poems were really like my way of trying to heal what I was going through and the things that I was trying to understand by past things that happened to me, right? Blue Vein Pages it is literally a poetic journal, because a lot of the poems in there are from
Absolutely.
a journal. And then I broke it up in three parts, right? So like Blue is probably the most depressing, traumatic stuff that I went through that really like triggered all of the depression that I've gone through over the years. Vein is everything that was heartbreak. Every girl or guy that broke my heart, mostly girls that broke my heart. It was and Pages was like, the section of Pages is more, it's a relief of everything in the beginning of the book, and it's more of my dedication to writing. But But Blue Vein Pages is probably the only book of its kind that will come out of me. The next one will not be as heavy. At least I like to think that it won't be as heavy because there's still, a lot of what I wrote in there, it still sits with me.
Right.
A lot of those traumas still sit with me. Some of these, I like to call them stains because it's almost like they never come out in the wash.
Right. I mean, I always say everything on its way up is on its way out, and
right.
it is, and you can't get everything out in one book. So of course, there's still going to be some release that's needed. And I noticed a butterfly like metamorphosis in your work. It was in the beginning, it was very dark, not in a bad way, but stabbing and tough. And I'm noticing, I've noticed lately a lot of culture and the features you've done with us and with others, faith, with love, and they become dominant now in the Tamara that I hear today, that we all hear today. So was this a conscious shift, or is just are you actually moving into these places with your?
Honestly, faith. So I was crowned Yemaya almost 15 years ago. In March, it'll make 15 years. And Yemaya was my saving grace. If it wasn't for Yemaya, I don't know where I would be today, to be honest. Ever since I've been crowned, I've not had another suicidal thought in my life. And that's 15 years of not feeling suicidal. That's 15 years of not wanting to end it all, which was different for me, right? Because prior to me being crowned, I had already tried it. I had already attempted to take my own life. I had already thought about it so many different times, so many different ways, right? In these 15 years, I never thought that I could write about the religion. However, I came back to New York. I left New York for a long time. When I came back to New York, a lot of wonderful people came into my life, right? People like Mark Vigo, people like Peggy, people like True, people like Chica. Writing with True taught me a different way to write about my darkness, right? Writing with Peggy and writing with Vanessa Chica has taught me how to write about joy, or write, and not only write about joy, but if I'm going to write about the heavy stuff, no problem. It doesn't have to kill you and everyone that's listening.
Nice.
So how about we find joy in the pain, right? Which is different for me because in my opinion, some of my best writing comes from my darkest moments, comes from being in pain. But when I've tried to write being happy, being in a place of light, it's been probably my biggest challenge. And I can honestly say that Peggy and Vanessa Chica have always challenged me to come out of that darkness. Like, it doesn't have to be so heavy. You can write about the heavy stuff, but within that heavy stuff, where is the joy? Where is the happiness? Where's the smile? You know what I mean? And I'm super grateful to them for that, because honestly, a lot of the work that's come out of me in these past few years that's been positive or has had that growth and that metamorphosis that you see has been because of them.
And you just gave Vanessa a new t-shirt. Yeah. Writing about your pain doesn't have to kill you.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There you go. So what direction do you think you're going to take in this next collection? What is in your mind? I know you're right. You said you're writing, you have this one collection sitting, haunting you by your nightstand, right? But
right.
Are you thinking of like another themed collection?
Right now, it's a collection. And it's a little bit of everything. I have noticed that I am talking a lot about growth and change. And I still talk about the things that I've been through, and I still talk about the traumas that I've gone through. I just feel like this is a different look at those
Mhm.
traumas.
Right.
It's probably not gonna be as heavy. Not probably, because that's more like doubting, right? It's definitely not going to be as heavy based on what I've seen so far.
Right.
Um, a lot of things about growth and growing and spiritual stuff is definitely in there though. And there are some angry poems where
Mhm.
I realize that when I'm pissed off at someone, I can really like go in, and I'm honestly not going to keep those poems out. They deserve to be
Absolutely.
published.
And that's what Yemaya is about. You
Right.
you wash it out, right? And then she washes into the shore of the people that came into your
Mhm.
life that are good for you.
Right.
And you gotta like a tidal wave. When you got that in you, you gotta
Right.
I tell Kat, who in Ifa is born with Yemaya, right?
Right.
That she has to understand that Yemaya energy that takes in a lot.
Yeah.
But then if you don't release it in a creative
It
way, what
it
happens?
it
You're
can
gonna
hurt
blow
us.
up. Yeah,
Right.
yes.
You
Yes.
implode versus or you do both. You implode and explode, which is not good
Right.
for anybody involved.
So a lot of people don't know about this. And I was doing the numbers for LCAT Productions this week, and I was like, wow, a lot of people are streaming this.
Right.
Letters to Diane was actually a personal gift, right? So let's see.
Right.
It was a series of short love poems for your wife,
Right.
right? And if that's not the most romantic gift you could give to another person, I don't know what is.
Right.
Tell me about that project. I remember in the beginning, you didn't want to do a whole thing. You wanted to do
Right.
like one or two.
And then
And
you convinced me to do a whole thing.
yeah.
Um Honestly, I feel like those pieces can be lengthened because they are
Mm,
very short, very quick pieces. That project was so dear. It is my first recording, like EP, so to speak.
mhm.
Um, and it was fun making it. Like I think we had a lot of fun
Yeah,
making that
absolutely.
project. Um, but I think it was more nerve wracking for Diane than it was for me because it puts her out there. She's very much the behind the scenes type of person. She
Right.
doesn't like to be in the spotlight. She's shy in her own way, but I enjoyed it. I every once in a while bite down on having to listen to my own voice, and I'll play it real quick just to get it all back and kind of see if I can work on it some more. But
Mhm.
I plan on putting those small little pieces in this next project as well.
Nice. So, are you planning or hoping to do more recording? Because Uncle Al is ready when you.
I honestly I honestly do want to do it's crazy because I wanted to do some of the pieces from Blue Vein Pages into a recording session or an EP of its own. But I do want to do another recording, but I want it to be mixed. I want it to be new poetry. I want it to be old poetry. Um, but I do want to do a religious recording
Ooh, ah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I have some religious poems, but I have sounds in my head when I do them that I want to go with it. So it's there. It's the thought process. Me and you have talked about it. I kind of harass you every
Yeah.
once in a while when the bug hits me, like I really want to do this and I got these ideas. But yeah,
That
that's
sounds
definitely
awesome. I
a
definitely would love to
plan.
to be. I'm throwing my hat in there, and
Oh,
whenever you're ready.
absolutely, absolutely. There's absolutely no one else that I would want to work with on that.
So, you are also a jeweler, not just a jeweler. I mean, tell me more about that. We're going to get into the website and we're going to see more about Simple Treasures, but um, and when did the jewelry come? Because I don't think I bought a piece from you that my wife wears almost to every special occasion, right?
Nice.
And I don't remember how I asked you to design it, but I know I wanted Yemaya in mind, and I wanted her to feel that, and you just hit it right on the head. Like,
That's
gosh,
awesome.
it was
You
beautiful.
kind
She
of gave
cried,
me
and
creative liberty, and
yeah.
you told me what you wanted, like the theme
Mhm.
you wanted, and then I just went with what came to me at that moment.
Yeah.
Um, Simple Treasures was born out of necessity, to be honest.
Mhm.
Me and Diane, I proposed to Diane 6 months into being with her.
Mhm.
Vanessa kind of called it. You know what I mean? Vanessa, me and Vanessa did a project together with me and Diane. She was showing her photos at an event, and she wanted to take the photos and wanted me to write a poem to go with it. I forget the name of it right now. I'm so sorry, but we collaborated. She took pictures of me and Diane over in I believe it was Coney Island or maybe Rockaway, Coney Island, right? Coney Island. And when Vanessa was taking pictures of us, she was like, she had like pulled me to the side. She's like, "Wow, this looks almost like wedding pictures. Like you
Ah.
guys might be getting married type of thing." And I was like, we're 2 months into this. Hold on, shorty. Like, right? And I said that, but in my head, I was already feeling like that was the path we were headed, right?
Right.
Diane probably was not nowhere near in this thought frame of thought at all. She probably did not think we were going to get married at all or that I would even propose. But, 6 months, I want to say 3 months after that project, I proposed to Diane. What happened, babe?
Oh,
I'm
that was
just
somebody.
things. I don't like to look into it too much. I just go
Yeah.
with the flow.
Yeah. So
Hi,
yeah, she
Diane.
had no idea. And when we finally we started living together, we started planning for the wedding.
Mhm.
Me and Diane, usually traditionally, right, the parents will pay for the wedding or family helps pay for the wedding. We paid for the wedding ourselves.
Nice.
And because, we don't have the same family ties that other people have, right? So I needed extra income. Like the wedding, and we didn't really spend a lot on our wedding. Our wedding was small. It was really simple, but it still cost money, right? So I was working, she was working, but we still needed to make the extra. So I started with these little bottles and put
Mhm.
seashells in them,
Nice.
and I just started putting it everywhere. I was like, if we can get this money out of it, then wonderful. It's a little even if it's $5 a week,
Mhm.
it's $5 a week towards the wedding.
Right.
And yeah, Simple Treasures was born
Nice.
out of necessity to get married, so to speak.
Nice. I didn't know that, and it was done with elements of Yamaya. That's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
And was that conscious or
Yes. Every
nice?
with me, there's always there's always something, like there's always a meaning to everything, because I don't know if it's the Scorpio in me or if it's the
Mhm.
Yemaya in me, but everything has a meaning. Even the ISBN number for Blue Vein Pages has something to do with my ida. So there's always something.
And what else does Simple Treasures Gifts and Things offer? Because it's not just jewelry.
It's not just jewelry.
I know when you saw my beard, you were
Yes.
like, son.
Let me make it
I-
pretty for you.
I got you.
So
I told him.
Yeah, Simple Treasures graduated from just Simple Treasures to Simple Treasures Gifts and Things because I'm eclectic, right? I do a little bit of everything.
Right.
So it became Gifts and Things when I got into essential oils, when I got heavily into crystals. Um, and I started, so the Gifts and Things, the things part is Simple Treasures Essential Blends, right? Which is anything with essential oils.
Right.
I have a beard care line. I have a hair growth line. I literally just made for the first time, a hair mask.
Mhm.
I also make beard balm, beard oil. I have a whole beard care set. I have a whole hair care set. On
Nice.
top of that, I'm also very much into custom work, right? So,
Mhm.
or the little things, right? So the little things are if you want a specific gift like you did with Catalina, you want a specific gift, you want it to say something, you want to add an extra, a note to it, you want it delivered by a specific date, you want it to say something specifically, or you want a poem that you wrote and you want to make sure that it's a part of that gift. I make sure that all of those little things are in there. And then also the packaging means everything to me, right? So when you open up my packages, when I send them to you, they either smell really good, there's little extra gifts, there's little thank yous, there's always a free gift of some sort, especially if you spend a good amount of dollars. Um, it's just real little things that
Yeah, you care.
make it special. I
Yeah,
try to make every experience with me as special as possible.
it is, and everything in the world now is so cookie cutter that it's nice to
Right.
have some actual emotion in something that's material, you know.
I also teach people how to make jewelry. So I've done a
Really?
couple of jewelry making workshops.
Oh, I want to take
Um,
one. I didn't even know that.
yes. It's you're gonna see when we get to the website. It's gonna be real easy to book
Yes.
me type of thing.
Let me go back to because we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna go take a little tour of your website, but let me
No
go
problem.
back to the writing real quick. What are your writing rituals?
Writers don't write. What are you talking about? Writing rituals. I don't really have a writing ritual. I have more of a I'm being attacked by these words, so you need to get them down before you forget them because you're becoming an old
Nice.
lady. You know what I mean?
Vanessa, you got another one. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I literally have learned that writers do not write. We just write when we are attacked by these words, or if I'm in a workshop, which is probably why I sign up for workshops so that I can get writing done because I don't get enough writing done. But literally, if I decide to sit down and write, I might play some music. I might turn on a candle. I might, but seldom. It's so seldom because I do so many things. It's almost like I have creative ADD.
Yes. And you know what? That is the case. Sometimes those words in your head will beat your ass, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's go. Your top three favorite books, because there's everybody has books that, like, I have Down These Mean Streets, that was a big influence for me, and a few other books. What are three books that you can say were an inspiration to you?
Interview with the Vampire, ironically enough. Anne Rice was one of my favorite writers. Interview with the Vampire definitely was one of my inspirations to anything that's love and erotic that I write, which is not a lot, but love, I write a whole bunch of about love, but erotic, I have maybe 7 poems in total of erotic poems. But Anne Rice, Interview with the Vampire, Romeo and Juliet, definitely. And currently, Homie is one of my favorite poetry books right now.
Who's that by? I don't know that one. I think Kat has that book, actually.
Peggy is gonna kill me because Danez Smith. Thank you, Karina. You're such a lifesaver tonight.
Yo, we got a team. It's a network.
Right, absolutely. That's community, right? That's my community right there.
So let's talk about real quick Bronx Bound Books, right? Because you're a huge advocate and volunteer of Bronx Bound Books. I've seen you when it first started take a lot of time working with her. There was videos, there were pictures.
Absolutely.
And it was, I know that the Fogon could be cold in the winter and hot in the summer. And
absolutely,
you guys were there with hundreds of books. And so tell us about Bronx Bound Books, your experience with that. And
Bronx Bound Books, I love LaTanya Devon. And anyone who knows her loves her, right? She's amazing. LaTanya has been a day one supporter for me, right? She has every idea I have. LaTanya's like, let's do it. What do you need? How can you do it? Let's get the information. Oh, you want to run down the block? What do you need to do to run down the block? I got you. Let's run down the block together. You know what I mean?
She'll say it a little
Because
softer, but
yeah. She's much softer than I am. Extremely patient,
yeah.
extremely patient. But Latanya had a dream to be a bookstore owner, right? And when I was like finding out that I was super gay, um, it was around the time that Ellen DeGeneres was coming out the closet, and in her show, she had a coffee shop slash bookstore, right? So at that time, my dream was, oh, I'm gonna definitely get a bookstore. I'm definitely gonna have a coffee shop. I'm gonna have like beat poets in there, and it's
Nice.
gonna be super jazzy, and it's gonna be like a New Eurekan, but it's gonna be mine, right? And then life happens, and I didn't, it didn't happen or whatever, and other things have happened for me. But then Latanya drops Bronx Bound Books, and she's like, "This is for the community. Like, it's my dream, but it could be your dream too." And because Latanya has always been such an avid supporter of me, I was like, "Well, what do you need? What can I do? How can I help?" She was like, "Oh, come sort books with me. We need donations. Just share. Like, if you can't donate, just share." If it wasn't that, it was just brainstorming over how Bronx Bound Books can even be bigger. And it really is just like two friends having a conversation, to be honest, because Latanya is my girl, right? I love Latanya, and we've had so many conversations about different things that she wants to do, things that she is doing, and stuff like that. And I anything that she does, I'm gonna support. Anything she needs, I'm gonna try to get it out there. But what she wants to do, like bring literacy to the Bronx,
Yes.
make it easy for people to just. We don't have a bookstore out here. You know what I mean? It's almost like the Bronx is not deserving of reading. And yeah, I beat up the Bronx in my own way, but it's because they make them different in the Bronx. That's one, and I used to live in Brooklyn, and
Yeah.
everything was out here. To be honest, Latanya is probably the reason that I live in the Bronx, because she always, every time she saw me, she's like, "Oh, you're gonna live out here. You're gonna live out here." Every time I was in the Bronx doing something, don't worry about it. Soon the travel won't be that bad because you're gonna be living around the corner. And da 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 da. And lo and behold, I live 2-minute walk from El Fogón, where most of the events I was going to was at.
Yeah.
So anything, and the Bronx Bound Books, just the what she wants to do for the community for me is important. Like, not only because I'm a writer, not only because I'm an artist, but because still in 2022 we have kids that can't read, we have adults that can't read, we have teenagers that still are just sliding by in school, and they can't read, or they can't understand a sentence, or really are unable because they don't have the means at home, or because there isn't a bookstore in their neighborhood, or because there's no libraries as well in their neighborhoods. And she brings that to people. She's bringing the bookstore to you. So there's no excuse now. Like, I'm here, I'm on your block. You can't say there's no books on in your neighborhood. I'm on your block.
So
You know what I mean?
you just gave Latanya the best commercial ever.
Oh yeah.
This clip, she put some music
I
behind
mean,
it.
that's Bay. You know what I mean? That's
They,
Bay right there.
that was two I means for everybody who's
Oh,
counting. That was two shots.
do I have to take 2 shots?
No, not but if you want
Good.
to, you know it's on you.
I mean, I know you had a drinking game, so I got my little set ready.
It's coming. It's but we want to before we do that, we got to check out your website. Let's go do that now. Do your little share thing, and we're gonna check it out. And then you can tell us all about it while you're doing that.
Will stop other participants' computer sound share. Yes.
This is how all Zoom sharing goes. She does. Yes, we do. Beautiful.
So the website is tamaragSaliva.com.
Nice. And there's the fedora.
Yes. So basically, the cover of Blue Vein Pages will be my logo for everything that has to do with Tamara G Saliva. So yeah, here we go. I'm so nervous. So when you first come to it, this is what you're gonna see, right? As you scroll down, this is
Nice.
the
There's that
about
big
me.
word. There's that big word that doesn't go good with drinks. Multidisciplinary.
Multidisciplinary teaching artist and poet. And then
That
so
photo's amazing, though. By the way, who took that?
his name is very difficult to pronounce, but I want to say is Gamaliel.
But it's beautiful. I love it.
I was performing at Babel in the Bronx, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
There's a real funny story with Babel in the Bronx and me. I had a point to prove, and this performance was a part of that proving points.
Nice.
But yeah, so here we are. So this is like the main, you can easily click on all of these things to see them further, and I'll do that next. So I'm just gonna go through these quick moments. So here are services I offer: relax and paint, let's make jewelry. So it's Tamara's Relax and Paint, Tamara's Simple Treasures Sessions, and Tamara's Pages. Then
I'm excited.
Simple Treasures, Gifts and Things. You can visit my store through here. And then my photography. You're able to see some pictures, not all of them. Here are some past performances. Spoken Word in 2015, Metaphorical Minds in 2012. I will be updating it. This is a performance at the Nuyo, Great Weather for Media that I did recently, a 10-minute feature. And then these are like flyers from old performances. So I'm going to kind of go, I'm sorry that was really fast. I'm going to click these links. Good. So if you go to About, you'll come to my bio.
Beautiful. Nice.
And then the fedora.
Yes.
Miguel Agarin was one of my favorite Nuyorican poets, and this was the first time I met him, and I almost died.
Yes.
And he signed my book.
Oh.
So this is just pictures of me with my bio. I also have my CV on here, which pops out into a whole different page. You really don't realize how much you've done until you've put your CV together.
Yes.
So that's just a lot of like, it's like a resume. So I'm just gonna go back to the site. Yeah. Services takes you to the services I offer. If you are interested in booking me, you would click book me and then fill out this stuff here. The gift shop will take you to
love that right there.
My store. So you would visit and it'll pop out to Simple Treasures, Gifts and Things. And then photography. If you want to see some of my work, this is some of the pictures that I've chosen to display on the site. This picture is actually on La Libreta.online. It was published on that site.
Beautiful.
Just little tidbits.
Look how much you love the Bronx. Besides having the best pizza, now we have the best photography.
I mean, I don't know about the best pizza. There's a spot on Knickerbocker and DeKalb that is to die for.
I'm gonna say like you, hands down.
Hands down.
Look at that. Oh my God. That. I'm gonna tell you something Kat loves is rusted, weathered doors and walls. And right now she's probably swooning at this.
So this was, it's funny because that picture was taken on my way to El Fogon to sort books with Latanya and Bronx Bound Books. And it's a burned down, abandoned house. And I don't know, I just had to stop and take pictures of it. This was in Queens, just playing with the camera. This was my first time leaving the house when the pandemic hit. and I had like my first real anxiety attack.
Wow.
Because I was freaked out by all the because I was watching the news all the time,
Right.
and it was just a crazy moment. Um, this is a church on Prospect Ave. I want to say this church is abandoned because I've never seen it open. So yeah, some of my photography. It's really just weird things that I feel the need to take pictures of. It's
Yeah.
not. There's no
It's
real method to my
no.
madness. It's just
It's images that have life that you saw life in, and
right.
like I love it.
I do have a plan to put together an exhibit.
You should.
Hopefully within the next year, I will be doing that. That's the
You
goal.
know, in one of my 30/30s, it was all photographs that people did. You should make a book with your art, and then you write to because these are all things that you felt. You can write a piece of all these beautiful pictures.
This is my sister-in-law's lilies in her backyard. So it's little things like this that just catch my eye.
Absolutely.
That I can't help, like I have over 40,000 images in my phone right now. It's crazy sometimes. This is like a scattered self-portrait type of thing. Honestly, when I did this, just to full transparency, when I did this picture right here and I did the edits for this picture, I was actually depressed. And this kind of like resembles what I was feeling at that moment.
You know, it's funny. I could see that in the eyes, but not in the mouth, and it's an interesting contrast there.
Right.
Yeah.
Good eye. Good catch.
But listen, let's not give it all away. They got to come see. Oh, wait,
not at all.
Look at that. You can't pull away from these. It's so beautiful. No, I love that. Well, the hydrant. Wow, look at that.
I submitted this photo, right? And it got rejected, which is totally okay that it got rejected. I accepted the rejection, but I was kind of, at the moment, I didn't accept the rejection because it was like, they told me what they were looking for. I sent them this and I'm like, how could this not depict the Bronx? Like, what are you talking about? And then when I saw the picture that won, I was double mad. But then I was like, it is what it is. I'll get my turn. And I moved on from it.
I can't see what's behind the link behind photography. Is there another link there? Because it's covered.
There is
after photography up top. What does it say there?
Over here?
Is that the last link, photography?
It is not the last link. It's more.
Oh, more. Okay, what's on more?
And then on more, there's projects. Which
you want to share. Nice.
Absolutely. It's community collaborations and partnerships that I've done. So I work with Robles Rights Productions, Inc. And if you want to check out what Robles Rights Productions, Inc. does, then you go to check out and it'll take you straight to her site.
Nice.
If you want to see what Bronx Bound Books is about,
love.
Then you can go to Bronx Bound Books, and this is her online store, and you can purchase books directly from there. Also, I'm in collaboration with the Word Box, which is Vanessa Chica's project. You can also click it; it'll take you to her site. And then Replications is a DOE project. I once a month go to a middle school actually on Fox Street here in the Bronx, and you're able, same thing, click on it, it'll check them out. And then I actually do workshops for PTA meetings at a middle school over on, and it's like once a month or once every 2 months that I do it. And of course, LCAT Productions. If you click that, it'll take you to LCAT Productions Facebook page, and you can contact them if you want to be produced.
I hear those guys are nice people.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty good. And then VGI is a freelance web developer. His name is Carmelo. He is actually the person who did this fabulous website. I gave him, told him what I wanted in a sense of like the idea, and he brought it to full fruition. And then upcoming events, which is stay tuned, and I'll put, as I go along, stuff that I'm doing will be here. And then if you just want to contact me directly, you go here, fill it out, and then send it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what you didn't do?
What I didn't do.
You didn't say the name. It's right there, Tamara G Saliva, but say it with your
Tamara
chest.
G Saliva.
.com.
.com. That's my website. Officially live right now today. So we launched it right before the show started. So if anybody has questions or services they're interested in, or even my photography, if you are interested in prints, you can click here and contact me and let me know which prints you're interested in, and I'm able to provide these prints in any shape, form, or fashion. I can do them on canvas, I can do them on metal, I can do them on paper, I can do them on 8x10s, any size that you want. It's just a matter of how deep these pockets are.
Beautiful. Everybody's gonna now, your job is to spread the word, get that out there.
Yes.
Once again, it's Tamara G Saliva.com.
Bravo.
All right. So that was her website. I hope you all like this. So now we're gonna get to some fun stuff too.
Oh, fun stuff.
Here's the first game, okay? First game is called Which Word is Bond?
Which word is
Are you
bond?
ready? So here's the deal. If you get it wrong, then you take your shot. Let me see your shot glass there. Yes. Wait, there's nothing in it. Stop playing.
No, there's nothing in it yet. Not yet.
All right. So you ready for the first?
But look, I have it's
Oh, yes.
And then you tap the bottle before you open it because I'm still hood.
Yes. So, are you ready for your first question?
Let me pour this. Yes, I'm ready for my first question.
So if you get it wrong,
I got
what you gotta do. All right, Twin, you ready?
Ready.
Vanessa Chica is allergic to dogs but still loves them. Voted for John McCain against Obama. Loves to walk in the rain with no umbrella, coat, or boots.
Oh man.
Which one of those?
I know she didn't vote for John McCain. There's no way.
Okay.
There's no way. There's no way. I don't see that. I don't see that in her. I'm gonna say is allergic to dogs and still loves them.
Pretty good. You did it. That was good. That was good. That's good. Okay. Next. Peggy Robles Alvarado is a two-time International Latino Book Award winner. Likes ketchup on her morcilla. Is a Brio Award winner.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the first one.
That would be wrong. She's a three.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I'll join you.
You got that wrong on purpose. I know it. You just wanted a shot.
All right. Now,
Woo!
you're going to get this one right. I know. Tanya Devon. Wait, let me give you a breath. You look.
Woo!
I feel like you need a break.
I got you. I'm here. I'm listening.
LaTanya Devon hates pizza, was raised by her brother, was once arrested for disorderly conduct.
She hates pizza. Definitely hates pizza. I've never understood
Got
why.
that right. Look at that. You gave yourself a break. That is awesome. So now you got that right. You're feeling a little nice now. You ready for some more?
Yeah, because I'm a lightweight, so I'm definitely feeling nice.
Oh, nice. Me too. Because it's been a while. So after a while, it gets to the point where one little thing gets you nice. But
I'm definitely pouring this next shot though, just in case.
You ready for that?
I'm ready.
All right. Not really a bad thing. All I want you to do is tell us about that.
Oh wow. I am I'm spitting the Brooklyn piece actually for the first time after I wrote it. And I'm spitting it at Capicu.
Yes.
In
How did that
Brooklyn.
feel? That was your first time there, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say no, it was probably my third time there.
Mm.
But it was, it felt great. I was with Vigo and Tattoo. If I'm
Yes.
not mistaken, me, Tattoo, and Vigo were there that night.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
I miss Tattoo.
I did too. It's good to see his face tonight.
Oh, he's here.
I don't know if he's still here, but yes, he is. There he
Oh,
goes.
hey, Tattoo. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's
Look
up,
at that.
Papito? Hey, everybody. Love you
Hey.
all. What's going
You
on?
too, my brother. That's my man. That's a beautiful person right there.
For real.
No, you
Good,
beautiful,
good.
brother. Tamara's even more beautiful.
I love you.
All right. Now these are just honest questions. You're gonna answer them quickly. It's called No Cap 10 Pack.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
So all you're gonna do, if you don't answer, you know what you gotta do, but you're gonna answer it because I think you had enough. So, all right, you ready?
Yes.
Lauryn Hill or Alicia Keys?
Oh, that's hard. But it's not that hard. Lauryn Hill, definitely. I love them both.
Maya Angelou or Pedro Pietri?
Wow, that's hard. Because Maya Angelou is one of my favorite poets.
Take the
I gotta
shot.
take a shot. I'm gonna take the shot.
Shot.
I can't answer. I love them both.
All right, here's an easy one for you.
Mm.
Oh, wait, take a breath.
Shit.
We're gonna have to change this to No Cap 3-pack.
For the lightweights in the room.
Yeah. All right, Notorious B.I.G. or Big Pun?
Notorious B.I.G. Like, come on, stop playing. Biggie all day.
Poetic Justice or Waiting to Exhale?
Poetic Justice.
Corona or Presidente?
Presidente.
I would say Corona. The Weekend or Usher?
The Weekend, always. That's my baby father.
Especially after the Green Ooze.
Especially after I saw him in a
Yeah.
concert. My wife gave me that for my birthday one year.
The Nets or Knicks?
The Nets, always. Come on. Brooklyn all day. The Knicks is trash.
Basquiat or Banksy?
Banksy.
Cookies or cake?
Cake. Always cake.
All right, last one, beach or pool? Very easy.
Oh, beach all day.
Yes, I knew you were gonna say that, but I thought maybe there might be a dilemma, like where Kat is also Yamaya, but she doesn't like the sand in her clothes. And
I'm not a fan of the sand and the sandwiches and all of that, but it's Yamaya. Like, how am I not? That's sanctuary. The beach is sanctuary.
All right, so for this, it's on you now. You got if you want to do a reading, up to you. I would love it if you did. No pressure.
No pressure.
But,
none whatsoever.
You
2
let
shots
me know.
in.
I warmed you up. This was
You
just getting you
did.
relaxed, and now you're ready
sure
to go.
did. And you told me that I had this option, and I totally planned on reading, but I did not pull up my document. So give me and bear with me, guys. I'm 2 shots in, and I'm a lightweight, so this is gonna be interesting.
Yes. Well, while you're doing that, you look for your documents. Oh, your hair looks nice like that.
Thank you.
Where's the fedora, by the way?
There's one in my bedroom, and 14 of them are currently in storage.
Is that a Vanessa Chica sign up there? Aquí vive un poeta.
No, that was a gift that Mark Vigo gave me a whole lot of years ago when he went to Puerto Rico. But under it is Vanessa
Word
Chica's
box.
Word Box, and she sent
Yes.
a sticker with Write the Poem. And then under that,
Yes.
since we're going for this, right? Under that is Bronx Bound Books. And then this way is Simple Treasures, Gifts, and Things. And then my small book collection that I have at home, because I have a huge book collection in storage.
The first word box was a mirror that we
Yes.
got, and I got depressed, and I wrote like a whole month of like really dark, sad poems.
Oh wow,
No, but it got me through it. It worked. It worked. It was
That's-
like
that's
it was
the plan.
forward. It was like, hey, you know what I do now? Like that Mary J. Blige song. I go in the mirror in the morning and I say, "Hello, gorgeous."
Hello, gorgeous. Because who else is gonna
It's
say
like-
it?
But you had to do it. You got to go through that mirror thing, and until you feel comfortable with and realize how beautiful you are.
All right, so I am going to read a piece that I worked with True on, actually.
Mm.
Okay. A seed spreading into seeking arms, feet rooted in soil, anchored in Mother Earth. I am growing into these layers of bark, bending and twisting beneath harsh howling winds. Budding flowers on branches sprout under summer rays, wavering in an upstretch for you, Mother. Petals wear bruises from old man winter's temper. The days are colder when he's around. His late night snowfalls penetrate branches left in unrepairable state. Splintering and rough, sticky sap seeping, staining like badges of horror oozing for you and I to see. Mother, it is in our nature to be at odds. Your rains of jealousy are absorbed within my roots. These flooding waters nurture fractured appendages from hurricane beatings on my back. Lacerations from their attempts to cut me down have my insides exposed to the infectious disease of their misery. Pus gathers in this open wound. I self-heal, build calluses around its edges. Isolating this pollution prevents decay from spreading. I heal. My leaves rise with the sun for warm mornings after cold nights. They whistle within your breeze to silence the crackling of growth. The sparrows visit with music in their throats for company among others in a lonely forest. The evening draws nearer, and the crickets encourage this flow of melodies God whispers among buzzing bees, building honeycomb homes in the space where decay took place. A caterpillar hung beneath my leaf. He explained that metamorphosis is necessary. Wrapping himself in the silk of transformation, he says, the purpose of change is not to become another person, but to bring out all the good that already exists within you. End poem. I can do 2 more.
Oh, that was
Is that cool?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Nice.
You're Tamara G Saliva.
All right. I'm so not used to reading sitting down or performing sitting down, so I'm gonna stand up.
Yes.
This is the beginning of a journey you started long ago. You have searched for love in all the wrong places, spent nights in and out of temporary fixes, all examples of love come and gone too fast for you to keep record. I can see you staring back at me, blame on your brow, guilt sits on your shoulders. Bet you never noticed when you smile, your eyes disappear into your cheeks. And there is a faint giggle that can only be heard if someone is really listening. There is a mysterious beauty underneath the brim of your hat, a complication that can only be understood through distortion. You are fighting melancholy devils and demons of insecurity. You are learning that there is no monetary value for your flesh. You are reaching the point of no return to darkness. You spend hours on end planning the mark you wish to leave on this earth before you're gone from it. We face each other nearly 30 times a day. You never look me in the eye. It's a process, and loving you has never been something you're good at. You have only just arrived. Allow me to be the first to tell you, you are beautiful. You deserve the love you seek. You will find it. It exists in the depths of you. I know it because you are I, and I am myself, and you are me, imperfect, flawed, human, designed to make mistakes. So the next time we meet in mirrors, look me in the eye and don't forget to tell me you love me because I love you. It's crazy. Sometimes these poems are easy and hard at the same time to read.
Beautiful.
One more and I'll be out of your hair.
You're never out of my hair. You're under my skin.
Forever, like tattoos. I am finding substitutions without merit, searching for windows to jump out of, sifting through painstaking change. I chase the tail ends of fortune cookies, waiting for an answer, sit in front of cowrie shells for divine truth, fall to my knees, scanning pages for the right words, bringing my hands together so that I am found. I move through dark shadows with candle-lit thoughts. My eyes glow in the face of death, but sometimes I question, am I so arrogant to believe that I could control the wind by releasing a kite into the air, holding on in an attempt at maintaining balance among the unbalanced? I sometimes predict the unpredictable and have noticed that the world has no concept of truth. Am I so arrogant to believe that a few stanzas can make a difference in a world where so many already exist? Am I merely standing in a state of being without living? Am I so arrogant to believe that I know more than God? As if the steps I take on this journey have not already been counted, sometimes I fall within myself, lay stagnant, slip into quicksand of complacency within my own thoughts, reaching for strings dangling from ropes, attempting to pull myself out, but fear and doubt tend to weigh like cemented feet. A hand reaches, small and fragile, grips mine, standing on a slippery surface as she pulls, saving me from ambiguity. She reminds me that hearing the truth is difficult, but listening is spiritual. She removes remnants of sand from my shoulders, inhales an embrace, elevates my spirit. Her exhale releases me into the wilds of my heart to find what she has seen within me. There's beauty along this road. I'm beginning to accept me.
Hey.
That's it. End poem. Thank you.
You are awesome. I know she's in the Bronx now, but she's from Brooklyn. So we're gonna give it up for Brooklyn and the Bronx.
Yay.
So before we go, just one more time, give all your handles. I know you got your website, but I know you have IG, Facebook.
So I have technically 3 IGs. I have a food IG, so it's called The Urban Vegan. You guys can check that out. I throw all my vegan recipes up there, or not the recipes itself, but just the process and the pictures. Because I'm like an old school grandmother who doesn't want to give out her recipes. I'm a little selfish in that way. I'm sorry for those of you who asked for it and I ignore.
It was a little sad because you made me some pork chops once, and when I went to your house, and
yes,
I'm sad that I'll never have that.
I mean, I could still make them. I just can't tell you if it's good or not because I'm not gonna try it. So the Urban Vegan is a food channel. If you're a foodie, you want to check that out. But all my artistic stuff, all of my art stuff, Tamara G Saliva on IG, and Simple Treasures Gifts and Things on IG. I heard that you can Google me and find everything that I've ever been on.
Absolutely.
And then there's my website, Tamara G Saliva. And worst case scenario, you can't find nothing on Facebook and IG. All my IG social media links are at the very bottom of the website.
There you go. That's good to know. We forgot to mention that.
Yes.
That's awesome. So make sure y'all check that out. Let's give it up one more time for Tamara G Saliva.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I am so grateful to you guys, to everyone who has supported me through this process and this journey. Everyone who's listened to or read my text messages at 3 o'clock in the morning or at 2 o'clock in the morning, whoever's gotten messages from me and was like, you can do this. I truly, truly appreciate you. I appreciate every person that has supported me in the last 12 years that I've been doing this stuff officially.
Yes, we all love you, and you are magic, like you mentioned before someone called you.
Thank
That
you.
is absolutely true. I'm so happy that I'm so happy that I know amazing people, and that's why I wanted to do this little talk show types thing, because I know when people see you and like Vanessa Chica, they know this one side of you, and
Yeah.
I kind of want to dig out what's inside that people don't get to see. I hope I was able to do that today for everybody. For the next one we're chopping it up with El David will be Vanessa Chica.
Yay.
That's next month, and then Brian Franco. And then I'm working on a lot of people. Like I want to get Sen One, the graffiti artist, art abstract graffiti artist. I want to get Albert. I want to get Areziaga. I know I said that wrong. He knows who he is.
Yeah. He knows who he is. He knows who you're talking about.
But you know what I lost? I lost the rolling R. Like that's why I like to say Vanessa Chica instead of Vanessa
Ferreira,
because I lost it. Yeah, for real. I've been rapping so long. You're
kind of saying Ferreira. You said Ferreira. You gotta say it in Spanish.
Yeah, I should get tattoo up on here too.
Absolutely. We need to know what he's up to, what he's doing, what he's going to be doing. Because I know if there's one thing I know about that man, he's always busy.
He's a beast. Tattoo. I'm gonna hit you up, man. All right, y'all. So you want to say anything else before we go?
I'm hot because of these 2 shots.
Yeah, Diane, you should be so thankful to me tonight. I got her to take 2 shots. She is open, ready. Like she cannot
open like a token.
Damn, thank you so much. I appreciate you, love.
All right.
She's so pretty, guys. Like she's not showing her face, but she's really pretty. Like, I'm the ugly one in the relationship. She's
watch
very pretty. I mean it in a positive way, guys.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time with Vanessa Chica. I love ya.
You got to share your music for us to hear it too.
Or we could just watch you dance.
Yeah, you got to share your sound. You're not sharing your sound anymore.
I wasn't. Let's do that again because this is important. This
part is the outgoing is important.
It's important because it's you.
That was great. That was great. Good job.
That was dope.
Yeah, good job.
Totally sweating right now.
I want to see the boys.
Boys, come on, ready? Here we go.
Where the soundtrack is a combination of passing trains with drums, trumpet sounds of traffic, howling sounds of cop cars mixed with ambulance.
Oh my God, he's so big.
He is really big.
He is.
Oh shoot! I thought you had to
say hi now.
Sorry.
Hi,
That's Vanessa Chica. That's your Marina. Hey, Marina.